Holy shit, guys. A Starcraft tabletop miniature game? How am I just learning about this now? Let's get to it. We need to talk about this. So grab a d20, pull up a chair. The bard is at work.
Hell, it's about time.
Body work.
I hunger for battle.
Alright, guys, let's get right into it. Let's talk about the StarCraft tabletop miniature game, which I just learned about, oddly enough. What are we going to talk about? What is StarCraft? What is this game? Is there demand for this? When will this launch? And how much is it going to cost? What is StarCraft? Well, StarCraft is a real-time strategy RTS computer game developed by Blizzard Entertainment in 1998. It is similar to Blizzard's previous hit Warcraft 2, except that it's a space opera setting as opposed to a high fantasy setting. StarCraft is praised for being a benchmark of RTS for its depth, intensity, and balanced races. This would be why it connected with me so much, because in 1998 I was probably... Well, I was still in elementary school, actually, but but I was almost in high school. I remember this being the game to play at the end of elementary school and all throughout my high school life. And I'm not even a big PC gamer. I don't like playing PC games that much at all. StarCraft really clicked with me. I loved the sci-fi world it was in. I loved the grimdark future. Speaking of grimdark, rumor has it, and I say rumor, I mean, I feel like this is like one of those really badly kept secrets, is that I believe Blizzard actually approached Games Workshop, or I'm not sure if it was Games Workshop at the time, but the creators of Warhammer. Okay, 40K had been around since 1987, I think. So the year I was born is when Warhammer was created. And from there, apparently Blizzard had approached them and wanted to make a real-time strategy game in the Warhammer universe. They either didn't want to work with them or didn't want to sell them the license, or maybe the license cost too much back then. I don't know that aspect of it. But Blizzard was so into the idea that they decided to make their own universe. That's how StarCraft was born, and you can heavily see the influence of the grimdark future in this game. The Zerg are the Tyranids, the Protoss. Well, I'm trying to think. Is there even like a Warhammer version of Protoss? Not in 40K, I don't think, but in the old world there is. Eldar? Maybe the Eldar are the closest. Anyway, doesn't matter. We'll continue. And obviously, Space Marines are the Terran faction, and their outfits are pretty freaking similar as well, right? So that's pretty cool. This game was awesome, and within the same year, I think it was a year later, they released Brood War, which is like an expansion, which added a bunch of new units, a bunch of new campaign, and it was fantastic. Everything about this game and its world, its story was fantastic. Blizzard sold like a battle chest for this game, and it came with a thick manuals just talking about how we're losing things. I'm not a big proponent for like physical collecting of like probably all the video games I've had over the years. If I physically had them all, I wouldn't know where to put them anymore. So, for the future, it's good to not have. But this manual was a thick boy. All the units, the story, the details, it was fantastic. I loved it. The main storyline in the game revolved around the great war between three galactic species: Protoss, a race of humanoid religious warriors; the Zerg, vile insect-like aliens who share a hive mind; and the Terrans, initially descendants of human prisoners from Earth. The storyline was initially introduced by the manual. The game was on Windows. It later came to Macintosh. I believe it even came to the Nintendo 64. There was a StarCraft 2 that came out pretty much 10 years later. I regrettably did not play StarCraft 2 because I didn't have a good enough computer at the time. And I don't know why, but like I said, I didn't play many PC games. I was more into console games at that time. So I never actually played StarCraft 2. But in comparison, it had a really short life. I don't think the game was bad. Maybe it was. I'd have to look more into it. What is this tabletop game? The StarCraft tabletop miniature game, developed by Archon Studios, brings the iconic real time strategy, RTS, video game to the tabletop as a tactical war game where players command Terran, Protoss, or Zerg forces with detailed 32mm miniatures, focusing on dynamic skirmishes, deep customization, and strategic elements like a fog of war and hybrid activation system to capture the feel of the video game. It features high quality plastic models, faction specific rules, and aims to translate the video game's fast paced action into a strategic tabletop experience with a focus on tactical depth over base building. So, to sum up some of the information I got from their live streams and their forums, it's created by Archon Studio and Blizzard Entertainment. It is meant to be fast paced, 1.5 to 2.5 hour sessions. They want it to be quick and fun. They don't want it to take 15 minutes for one player to move their entire army and then everything's dead on the field. It's going to be alternating action, so one side goes and the other side goes. They said that the rules and stuff will be available for free online, as well as character sheets. Overall, it sounds pretty cool, I have to say. I'm excited to give it a go. They also said that they'd be doing every 2 months. They want to release like a new faction of the species. Each species will get like a launch of new miniatures. They have plans for like new battle maps and such, which sounds cool. If you don't know who Archon Studios are, this is their website here. They have been making games for some time. They are huge fans of tabletop games. They've had varied success over their brands, but they've dealt with big IP before, and they do put love into these things. This is the StarCraft page here. Not much info on there right now. You have to look like I said, they've done videos and live streams and forums and ask me anything, and you can see about the rules and how it works a little bit. Sign up for the news if you wish. But yeah, they've developed quite a few games in the past. Miniatures look nice. They definitely know what they're doing. Is there a demand for this game? I mean, we can see by the sales that StarCraft was once upon a time the biggest PC game ever. And things have changed, obviously, for the franchise. It's pretty dead at the moment, honestly. But its main direct competition in that same space is what? Warhammer? Warhammer, which a lot of people are tired of the constantly overly convoluted changing rules. They release a new edition, and literally a week later, you can download PDF of the rule changes in a vastly overpriced system. I love Warhammer. A lot of people love Warhammer in the universe, but rules and the changing of the rules and the price, very, very, very premium, not well organized. So for sure, I definitely think there will be demand. I'm not saying it's going to ever beat out Warhammer, but I do think there's going to be a large number of people interested in this tabletop game. Ex-StarCraft fans, as well as tabletop adjacent type players. And not that it really matters, but I think it might play into it, is that Blizzard, or Activision Blizzard, is now owned by Microsoft/Xbox. Xbox in 2026, this year, is celebrating their 25th anniversary. Blizzard is also celebrating their 35th anniversary. There are huge rumors around a StarCraft 3 and also a StarCraft shooter in development with helps of ex-Call of Duty developers. So with this game coming out this year, that is a hype train that might get rolling for this game. It might have a lot of cross multimedia projects going, and that's really cool and exciting to see as well.
Starcraft war game going to be as expensive as Warhammer?
30% cheaper. That's at least. Warhammer, it's scaling very high, so you can have massive armies. Here, if you want, you can have massive armies, but this is not going to be the level of play, as I mentioned, is combat patrol, and that's about it. I mean, the game scales, so you can play bigger battles if you want, but that's not ideal for us. So it's going to be much smaller. In terms of price point 1-to-1, it's definitely minimum 30% cheaper to what you will find with Games Workshop.
So when's this game going to launch? They don't have an official date yet. Their original plans were Q4 of 2025 to start the pre-orders. As far as I'm aware, they didn't meet that mark. So I'm assuming this month, latest next month, they'll probably start the pre-orders. And then from there, I think they said they were looking to get like 2 or 3 months to delivery. So they're hoping that they'll be officially launched and out into the world by like March, April. To be seen. I'll let you guys know if there's an update on that. I'll be the first one. I won't be the first one to update you, but I will be one of the people who will update you because I'm really looking forward to this. And I can't wait personally.
How much customization can we expect from models in terms of bits, i.e. will we get things like the option to put random fire extinguisher from the cinematic in Starcraft Marine on our Marines?
Okay, so we just finished like fully designing Marines, and we had this discussion, like Shimon was preparing a document for me, for project document on the Marines, and we were looking for different bits and bobs of customization on the Marines. So hear me out. Again, this is maybe subject to change, but you will find on our sprues bits that will allow you to do a different type of great customization. So muzzle flash, for instance, and some crystals maybe on the base, and made out of krill plastic and so on. So we plan actually to do a lot of those things included in a product for every single line. So for those of you who like those things, we'll be able to spend a little bit more time on the models because we'll require a bit more assembly. But the option is there. You won't have to go and 3D print something or go and buy something. We're going to give you. You're going to get it. So that's slightly different what we want to do above to what competition is doing currently.
How much is that going to cost? They haven't announced an official price yet, but we do have the baseline where they said it'll probably be about 30% cheaper than Warhammer. And he's comparing it to combat patrols, so that would mean we're probably looking at somewhere between 150 160 USD for the starter set. So that's 208 to 222 Canadian, and a faction box 60 to 80 USD, so maybe 83 to like 115 Canadian. If I compare it to Games Workshop's website, a combat patrol is I think 205 across the board before taxes, Canadian. And then the starter set is 265 Canadian before taxes, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 265 for the starter set, which I think the starter set is gonna be more in line with what we're getting from the StarCraft bundle. So 30% cheaper. Makes sense. I'm going to say somewhere between $200 and $300 you're going to be paying for this, probably, for a starter set. And then if you want to buy the starter set is probably going to be the Terran and the Zerg. And then I think they already announced that you'll have to buy the Protoss as a separate faction. So that'll be between the 60, 80 USD that we spoke about. Of course, I'm assuming if you want to buy the starter set plus the Protoss faction, you're looking at like $337 before tax. So probably like 350, 360, and God knows what else they're going to sell. I don't know if there'll be like hero or like captains at the time, or like legendary ones you can buy at the same time. Probably special dice sets if you want, faction based. So yeah, it's your standard premium tabletop game. It's priced right in the range where I would expect it to be. A little bit cheaper than Warhammer, but especially since you don't have to build huge armies, though they said that you can. They did say that you can. So, I don't know. To be determined. Hey there, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, follow. I'm definitely going to be keeping us updated on this game because I'm really excited about it. Primarily, I'm more of a painter and model builder before a gamer. So obviously the models and the painting aspect of it interests me much more than the game. But the game and its mechanics sound really fun. There's deck building, some card building elements to it. It's a war game, skirmish, smaller form Warhammer, bigger models than Warhammer because they're actually 32 millimeter. Warhammer is 28 millimeter. I'm really excited. I will keep you guys posted. Let me know if you're excited about this game and if you're looking forward to it in the comments below. Make sure to check out Archon Games. The Bard is clocking out, guys.